How you take in the world actively changes it. Everything that we observe observes us. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee. If you guys are new, if you're not, this is gonna be a super old school throwback. I've been doing a lot of working internally and just discovering and getting back into the joy of life. I've been recently reading this book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and he kind of describes something that I feel like I've been going through the past year and a half, and that's just getting stuck in, I think I would call it like a life loop, just living mundanely. I kind of lost that spark for life. I've lost like the joy of like wanting to create, wanting to learn, wanting to improve myself, and that's just such a bad place to be in. Like, I am not that kind of person at all. I find joy in creation, I find joy in life, and I love improvement, and I just haven't had that in a while. I think honestly a lot of us, like with the shifts of COVID and like how the world changed with that, like I think a lot of us probably have been going through that. So in this book particularly, he had described a phenomenon called the observer effect. This guy, he's a doctor, he's a biochemist, his name is Joe Dispenza. I'll link it down below for you guys, but he's like the science behind all of the thoughts and thought patterns and how your brain can like change your reality, but it's like more in depth because it's, like I said, the science kind of part of it. He's really freaking smart. Like, he studies brain function, neuroscience, chemistry, cellular biology. Like, it goes beyond me. He kind of dumps it down a little bit in this book. I kind of have to take it a little bit slow to kind of grasp everything, but I really liked the observer effect, and I think it's a good starting point to bring these videos back. If you guys are old subscribers of mine, you guys know I used to always share just like little life hacks that I learned and things for self-improvement and growth. I'm getting back into that, and I thought this would be a really good video to start with. What is the observer effect? How do we get out of that loop? How is it correlated? So basically, the observer effect is defined as observing a situation or phenomenon changes it, or in other words, your reality is altered by just the simple act of observing it. Now, it's kind of like, wait, what? Huh? It's like studied in quantum physics. I'm gonna read an excerpt from here because I am not gonna act like I understand or get science. I think for the scientists out there, this would be a better way to describe it from Joe Dispenza himself. He's basically saying that in quantum experiments, it's demonstrated that electrons exist simultaneously in an infinite array of possibilities or probabilities. So basically, particles exist in multiple different states simultaneously, but only when an observer focuses their attention on any location of any one electron does that electron appear. Basically, when we observe it, they collapse into a single state. There's an experiment that they use to describe it more in depth that I'll link down below, but it's called the double slit experiment, where they kind of proved the phenomenon. So, in other words, a particle can't manifest in reality until we observe it. My battery's about to die. 1 second. All right, back in action. So essentially, energy responds to your mind, and it's specifically mindful action. Energy and your mind are directly linked. They're correlated, and I've had bouts of this and I've seen proof of this through my life. I know that the way you think completely affects your reality, and it's not this magic that I think a lot of people think of, like when they think of people who study like new age or they're kind of more spiritual. I think people can take it a little bit overboard by trying to manipulate and control the situation or make it something bigger than it really is by placing material in there and greed, and that's not who I am. I'm just saying, in terms of perspective and the way that you use your thoughts can directly affect your reality. Like, you're not changing anything with magic, you're just kind of doing internal work, which is making you kind of view it and therefore acting in your world differently, which will attract different things. It's always how I've kind of viewed the newer age thought of like the law of attraction and your thoughts and all of that. With the observer effect in mind, like, can we change our physical world with our minds? And with our minds, i.e. your thoughts. Like I just described, think of this as like a perspective phenomenon. So if you were to walk in a room full of people, an event that you're going to, if you're having all these negative thoughts about it, if you're having negative thoughts about your appearance, if you're having negative thoughts about the social aspect of it, if you're getting fearful towards it, if you're thinking the worst case scenario, like how are you going to walk into that room? How are people going to observe you? How are you going to present yourself? How are you going to communicate? Where's your eye contact going? You're observing all of these bad things or things that aren't making you your best self, your best version, you're not going to go into the situation attracting good. Like, it's just not gonna happen with that thought process. Imagine now you go into it thinking positively, you observe things that you might have not otherwise observed by thinking a little bit differently. How are you gonna walk into the room? Who's gonna greet you? How are people gonna feel your energy, and like, how are they gonna act towards you because of your energy? You didn't necessarily change anything. It's the same exact room that you're walking into. You're just walking in with a new energy because of your thought process and your mind. And that's what I think of like perspective phenomenon. It's like all about perspective when you show up to this physical world, whatever chapter you're in. Like, if you want to dive deep into it, like, what scene are you in? There's an infinite array of ways that we can view a situation and observe things. We do that with our mind. And what shapes our mind? Our thoughts. It's really all about our thoughts. So you have to change yourself to be different. To be different, you have to explore different thought patterns. And if you're like, this is bullshit, it's not gonna happen, whatever, blah, blah, whatever situation you're in, if you're happy with it, fine, that's great. Like, keep doing you. But if there's something that needs to change, why not try this? Like, it's so simple, it's free, it's not anything embarrassing. Like, you don't have to really try too hard. You essentially just become a new version of yourself internally to gain a different perspective, to change your reality. I've started doing this journey of changing myself internally and like working on myself, and I've seen so many like signs. I've seen things changing so fast already, and like my mindset, and it just is a more enjoyable way to live. Like, I feel happier, I feel more at peace, I'm like lighter. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just saying, give it a go. Try it out. If you don't like the version of yourself of who you've become, if you don't like what you're attracting, if you feel stuck in a loop and you're just not motivated or inspired, you need to do internal work. Like, that's it's as simple as it is. It's just your thoughts. Like I said, it's free. Just try it. You're gonna hate this, but you are the creator of your loop. Whether you like it or not, you're the creator of it. I was not in a good loop. I was not liking myself. I wasn't liking who I was towards my people. I wasn't liking my attitude towards my situation. I just didn't feel that spark for life because internally I wasn't really working on myself. So how do we influence our reality? You influence the observer. You are the problem, my friend. I have 3 steps here that I wrote down. The first thing is to observe internal dialogue. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to attract? What do you want to attract? What in your life is that vision, that dream like God gave you that you have in your head? Like, it's there. It's like you observed it, right? You created it, whether it's in your head or not, like it is there. That's the first step, is just to observe what you want. The second step is to align your attention with that observation. The situation didn't change just because it changed. It changed because you had the act of observing it. The act. You have to do things. Like, you can't just think and it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be here. Like, you have to literally, from the core of your being, start acting now to be the observer, to observe that reality. What you focus on, where your attention goes, is ultimately going to become your reality. Like I said, if you're walking into that room full of people, where was your attention going? If it was on the negative, if it was on worry and stress, and it was just a bad thought pattern, that's going to be your reality going in. That's what you're attracting, that's what you're putting out there, that's what everyone feels from you. Whereas if you go into it in a different situation, positively, with a different thought pattern, you challenge yourself to have a different thought process, that's what you're going to attract. Essentially, that becomes your reality. It's almost like a spiderweb effect. The way you feel, based on the way you went into the situation of how you felt, is going to attract the way you interact with your Uber driver, is going to attract conversations with future people, is going to create your habits for the day. Like, it's all like this spider web, like chain. So your attention becomes your reality. It becomes solid and it becomes measurable. You just observed it because you are behaving like it. You're literally taking that observation and putting it forth. And the third thing is to just allow the change. You have to trust it. Like, don't, like I said, it's not a magical thing. You're not gonna like get it tomorrow. It's gonna happen in a way that is unexpected. I don't think we have to like put like so much pressure on said thing. Like, just allow it to happen by just behaving like it, if that makes sense. In the book, he had described his daughter manifesting like a trip to Paris. He had wanted to do that because she was acting as if she had already manifested that, she was speaking French to the local librarian who ended up having a job opportunity in France. I think it was France or Italy or something. It was like a European country that's like super cute and aesthetic. But she had gotten a job offer, all paid, and the only reason she did that was because she was acting like she had already gone there and she was speaking French. If she wasn't acting like that, she wouldn't be speaking French, and she never would have sparked that conversation up from the librarian. So it's all unexpected, right? Like, you don't know when it's gonna happen. You're just trusting, and that's part of the belief process and allowing process, to kind of just let things go and just allow it to come to you, because it will. I've seen this happen so many times to me in the past. How you take in the world actively changes it. Keep in mind, everything that we observe observes us. The way that his daughter walked into the librarian, the observation from our external environment, the way we were observing ourselves and acting, actively changed her world. How we walk into that room full of people, the way the world perceives us and observes us based on how we observe ourselves internally and what we're viewing, actively changes our reality. And it's such a cool concept. I was like, I have to share this because it makes total sense. Like, it's just something that I wish a lot of other people knew about, because our world would be a lot better of a place, I think. Like I said, I think like a lot shifted in 2020, obviously, and I think there's a lot of turmoil and like negative energy. I am one to speak, like, I totally understand. I think it completely shifted my perspective and mindset, and I got into that spiral of just allowing my external to affect my internal, where I need to switch it around and start allowing my internal to switch my external. I can't blame certain things on my external environment. I can't blame it on anyone else but myself. Like I said, you're the creator of your reality. And so yeah, it's just like a great reminder. I'll link this book down below. If you guys liked this kind of video, I can keep doing more. If you guys want them to keep coming on Wednesday, we can bring back Manifestation Wednesday videos. I just love like learning again, which is like such an awesome feeling to have, and I definitely want to like share that stuff with you guys, because like I said, it's just, why not? So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I love you guys so much. Give it a thumbs up and let me know if you want this kind of content going forward. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in a future video.